Morning, everybody. We are on Monday. I think today. Yeah, today's Monday. I'm losing track of time, and I don't have it up on my computer because I'm going to be showing you something else today. First off, I just hope everybody had a good weekend, safe weekend, and it continues through this week. I'm really excited as this week goes on. I got a bunch of things going on, but Saturday is the book signing at LA Vintage Gear. So I'm completely jacked about that. It's going to be so much fun, and I really look forward to seeing as many people as want to come down there. And I'll have books and T-shirts and pictures and stuff and hang. I just want to see people again. Had a really nice time last night. My wife and I went to a friend's house, and they celebrated Greek Easter. And I think I'm going to fast for the next week. I think I'm really sort of flatlining here in a coma with the amount of food. The sound of my stomach trying to digest. Oh, oh man. It was lovely, and it was really great to be at a little dinner party with a group of people who have all had two shots and the time distance required to actually sit at a table and have really great conversations and stuff, and not feel distressed and wondering, are we okay and all this. If you do it right, you can do it. That's the great thing. The thing I was going to do, I had a couple of things I was thinking about song wise and artist wise. Then somebody sent me a link to this video, and I thought, man, I just want to show you this guy. This was a drum lecture clinic that Jeff Porcaro did in 1988. Jeff was such a huge part of my career for the years that we were together. We worked together constantly. I did so many wonderful projects with him and spent so much incredible time with him, and hanging and just being near this guy made your life so much better. At one point, I had a '62 Thunderbird, and I sold it to him, so we connected on the cars. But there's a world of magnificent drummers out there. But the thing that's remarkable is no matter where I go in the world, no matter who I talk to, drum-wise or anything, as soon as you bring up the name Jeff Porcaro, there's an air of reverence that comes from it that's really profound. His impact on the music industry and the music scene was so deep. I mean, way beyond, like Toto and Boz Scaggs and these different things. I'm not even going to go into his history. If you're curious, just Google up Jeff Porcaro, and it's a remarkable reading, and it's just the legacy of an absolutely remarkable human being. On a fairly regular basis, fairly regular basis, I go up to Forest Lawn, and there's a bench right next to his grave, and I sit there and just reflect on all the time I spent with this guy, and what a joy it was to be around him. Things like looking at his kit when he was playing, because he was a really good cartoonist, and he would draw on his drum heads, and it was like dark and crazy stuff. It was really fun. And when I was out with Toto, they carry one of his drawings framed, and they set it up in the dressing room every night. It's just something to look at, just to get inspired. It's really insane. But he was just one of those people that came into my life that I will forever remember, be indebted to, be appreciative of, and in awe of his musicianship. I mean, the Porcaro family is the most remarkable family. I think of Mike all the time, and I still see Steve, but it's just, and Joe was just an amazing father and mentor to everybody. So it's amazing. So I just thought I'd play this, and I love hearing Jeff's voice. As soon as he starts talking, man, I am time traveling right back into Porcaro world with this. I mean, when we would be listening to playbacks, he had the greatest body language when we'd be sitting in a control room or standing in a control room. Just listening to playbacks and just some of the comments he would make, were so ingrained in my DNA at this point. So let's check out this little lecture clinic, whatever you want to call it. Here we go.
Look back to when I was younger and learned rudiments that I can remember and try to remember sticking. I remember hearing this guy, what's his name? Floyd Sneed. He was the drummer of Group 3 Dog Night. I used to hear him play, and they had this great, and all he would do was take paradiddles and double paradiddles and just put them on the drums, and he played them real simple, without any variation. And then it's the first time I said, wait a minute, rudiments to apply to the drum set can be really cool. But I wish I had learned more, because I hear stuff out of my dad's book that you guys just played. Double paradiddle things with the accents that are really hip. I should know, but I don't.
But some of the stuff in his book is stuff that he got from you, right?
Yeah, but it's stuff that he would say, well, what are you doing? And he would look at what I'm doing and try to figure it out, because I never give any thought. With me, like sticking, when I looked at this book, at this last exercise you did with the double paradiddles, and I looked at the sticking, and I said, oh man, I wish I would have known that for beats I've tried to invent, because I always find myself, okay, I hear something I want to play on the drums, but I don't have the, really the technique, and I haven't done my motor, your muscles, the brain to this. Every time I look at music, I go crazy. This doesn't flow naturally for me. So I'd spend hours, I'd come up with a pattern in my head, I'd spend hours trying to figure out, well, how do I pull it off with these two hands and these 2 feet, and make it feel good. And I've come up with some unorthodox ways to do it, which when I learn the right way, it could be much easier for me.
Could you demonstrate one of the unorthodox things?
Well, I don't know about how unorthodox, and that's why I came here today, because I'm going to be with some of my dad's classes, because you can show me what I'm doing, maybe. Explain it, you know what I mean? Like, what is this called when you do,
They trust this kid.
what is this where it starts with the upbeat, is that an inverted paradiddle?
Where's 1?
So 1, 2, I'm starting at the 16th before 1. 1, 2. Right? Is that it?
What's that called, folks? Do we know?
Do you guys know what it is?
Huh? Do we? I don't know. I don't think there's any name.
There is? I thought it was called, what's that, an inverted paradiddle with a 16 starts? Because you see, you've heard we start off with a 5-stroke roll.
All it is just...
Let's do the accent notation. I come across stuff that I wish I could, that I had more education. Stuff like bebop, jazz stuff. Now people say jazz, well I wish beats like the halftime shuffle stuff. Some of those came from early on, me just watching my dad or listening to bebop drummers, but none of it I can ever apply really to my playing. It's always hard, except for the feel of it. And I wish I had more of those kind of chops that guys like Vinny or Weckel have, because I can't tell you how frustrating it is. If you're playing and you enjoy playing, you're playing along with a live band, and you hear somebody doing something, you go, yeah, I want to get it, and you know what it is in your head, but you don't have the motor thing happening. It's not a natural event. It's something that maybe if you studied it, then it becomes natural, like anything. Guys say shuffles, I used to hate shuffles. Like I would walk out, and when I was a Steely Dan record called Black Friday, and it was the shuffle thing, and they used to use this drummer Jim Gordon a lot earlier before that. This guy was great at shuffles, so they asked me to do a shuffle. As soon as I started playing, I put my sticks on and go, look, I'm not the right player, because shuffles, there's a certain feel with a shuffle. And they said, no, you gotta sit down and you gotta play it and play it. Well, the more I sat down after getting yelled at, you're not leaving anywhere, and the more I played with other musicians, like a guy like Chuck Rainey, playing the field, the more I said, oh yeah, wait a minute, your muscles, the feeling, you go, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like. You need that to happen once, and then you're cool. So that's why I think a lot of the exercises I just heard in this class and the class previous has stuff that makes me want to go and check out.
Well, you get enrolled in the school when you...
I will.
I mean, the humbleness is unbelievable. He's such a monstrous player.
Now that beat was weird. It was something. Sometimes I like to sit and say, okay, invent a new beat or try to invent. But there's nothing I've ever come up with that I say is new. That I wanted to do a halftime beat, meaning the snare to the backbeat landing on 3. And the first thing I heard in my head was this kind of thing. And I kept hearing like there would be toms or something or wood sounds dynamically until where they landed on the 3rd beat. So I actually sat down on the drums in the studio. This Paige and I had written it in the studio, which is keyboards and drums. And I just did this on the bass drum and I went. There's something like that going on. So I started getting. Now what am I going to do in between? So I started messing with riffs. Now I'm trying to show my dad what it is, and I can't figure out what I did. There's a beat like that. This is what I mean. It's something where your head says, "Okay, fill up the spaces," and I do what I'm only capable of doing in between. So it was, of course, the hi-hat was. All I'm doing was just keeping.
Mark and I were trying to figure this out. Let me get a quick view of this.
All I was trying to do is figure out some way to put some sort of 16th notes, whether they be double strokes or single strokes. Just do it. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything as long as you keep the and something in between. So then I said, well, let me split my hands up and try to do these ambidextrous type things, guys, which I can't do. I started splitting up so that just my left hand would always play the hi-hat. And this all came to accident because I had a 10-inch up here. So every time I wanted to go around the toms, I would lead with my left. And as I came across my hi-hat, I got a like dynamic going to this. It would be. I finally got comfortable with it, you know, and he said, Jesus, why couldn't I have done this on the record?
Did you always play the bass drum as a straight four member?
Yeah, sometimes I, you know. That's how it goes.
Probably next about Pasadena.
Yeah.
How you really play that? The ghost notes.
Yeah, somebody said they saw Harvey Mason was at a thing and told everybody I overdubbed the ghost notes. No, and then a drummer, he goes, no, a drummer can't physically play that. That whole beat, though, what's amazing is that, and I feel uncomfortable when people ask me about this beat because it's nothing, it's like if I invented this beat to Rosanna. And it's not the case. I mean, I don't know how many times I've told people that's mainly Bernard Purdie has that groove down better than anybody. And then I would hear it from John Bonham to do it, man, all the time. In different things, but especially with the Greystone things. And I mean, there was a record that we had, the group Toto had, our second album was a song called Mama. And it was, that was actually the groove, right? Everybody should at least know halftime shuffles, right? I mean, right? That's your basic halftime shuffle. Now, I don't know about anybody, but sometimes I get nervous when I play, especially if it's playing something the first time or if it's a session or live. And my hands sometimes do this. Honest to God. So actually, did anybody ever have their hands shake a little bit? Right? No, I'm serious. And so I would start. Control the nervous spasm you're having. And just make, you know. So, actually, it's exactly what Purdie's doing. If you went. shuffle, and I'm just adding this little grace note in between, right? Oh, and I'm putting backbeats halftime on the third beat. So that third backbeat is actually I'm playing 2/16, one loud and one grace following it. Once you do that, then you'll find if you start moving your hand around, all of a sudden you can get those grace notes doing this, right? Bass drum part was just like a low diddly thing, so it would become.
Wow. Wow. Hold on. Let me just hold on 1 second here. So that's Jeff Porcaro. Just watching that, I feel like I'm back in the studio with him. I mean, he was one of these most remarkable people I've ever met. And that's just a little nugget for, because I dropped his name so much on these videos. I just thought it would be nice for anybody who really had never experienced him, just to experience a touch of him. When we did a tribute album to him, I posted it on an earlier video we did Babylon Sisters, and I played with Bernard Purdie. And before we went in and cut the track with David Garfield, had a great bunch of musicians on it. We sat and listened to a clinic that Jeff had done, and it was really something, because he's talking to all these young drummers, and he's starting to get started, and then he says, "So, how many of you know about Bernard Purdie?" And hardly a hand went up in the room, and he went nuts. He just was so pissed off, because Bernard meant so much to him in his playing and his developing and stuff, and the idea that drummers wouldn't know about him was really being a bass player, and they say, who knows about Charlie Mingus or Ray Brown or anything, and nobody raising their hand. You kind of go, what? So he got pissed off in this video, and you hear him kind of berating the students, and walks out and slams the door. It's like, we all went, okay, this is good, let's go cut now. And we went in and just killed it with Bernard. It was really funny. But I thought today I just wanted to visit Jeff more than anything. He was a very, very, very special musician in my life and friend, and I miss him every single day. And have so many my old date books that just say Jeff on sessions that I was booked for, because I knew Jeff was on. If I knew Jeff was on a date, I could care less who the artist was or anything else. I knew I was going to have a good time playing, because we just locked up so well together. And I love you, Jeff. I miss you every day. And I want to wish everybody the very best. I'll get back to music tomorrow, but I just was in a mood for a little Jeff P. in there. And Jeff Porcaro was a one and only. So take good care. Have a great day. Give a moment of thought to all the people out there working hard. Like I've said over and over, this is nowhere near behind us. So don't get cocky about it. Things are opening and getting a little bit better, but we're not out of the woods yet, so be as safe as you can. Protect yourself, your friends, your family, everything. So I will see you tomorrow then. Okie doke. Okay, bye-bye.